Hello, hello, hello. Good Woche. We're starting B'zat Hashem with the story of the Baal Shem Kodesh. Let me just even prepare. Unfortunately, the Sichos Haran for this week. Well, B'zat Hashem take care of this. Chop chop, as they say. Okay. Right, let's take a look. Okay. Ah, okay. So this happened in the 15th of Tammuz. Rosh Hashanah, the Baal Shem Kodesh. He washed his hands for the Suda. Why he lifts his holy hands for make the bracha. His face came darkened. He was standing there with his hands up. After the bracha, he sat by the tish, with all his talmidim around him. He did not sing, did not say anything. And he was sitting like he wasn't even there. He wasn't in this world. That's the way he was. On after Shabbos, Lava Malka, they asked him, why he was so down. And he said that the Western candle has lashed out. Kavo ner amaravi. When he saw that people don't understand what he's talking about, he said, he told them about the greatness of the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Natal. And he told them that before Shalosh Shudas, that Rabbi Chaim ben Natal was mistalik in Yerushalayim. So they asked him how did you know? And he said that there is in the Tilas Yadayim, it's a very famous story about the Baal Shem Kodesh. During the Tilas Yadayim, there is one specific secret in the Kavana of Netilas Yadayim that is given to only one tzaddik in the generation. And Mishamayim, they only reveal it to Gedol Ador. And the Baal Shem says, I didn't know all my life this particular yichud, this particular kavana. So today, when I made Netilas Yadayim for Shalosh Shudas, suddenly I found out what this particular yichud and I understood. Orach Chaim HaKadosh was installed by Salomon, because he was the Gadol Ador, and this yichud has to do with the Geula. And it's befitting to him. And when this secret was revealed to me, the Baal Shem Tov, I knew the Ner HaMaravi, he used to call, the Ner HaMaravi, that's the candle that, in Beis HaMikdash, that's the candle from which they lighted all the other candles and was the first and the last of all the candles to be lit. And he said, if I would have gotten this particular gilui, this particular revelation, in Eretz Yisrael, I will be able to do more Yeshuas than he already was able to do. And another opportunity, Baal Shem HaKadosh said, whenever I go up to the Eichel Elyon, to the upper realms, the Orach Chaim already went up and came down. So therefore, is he greater than you? So he said, what's for sure is he's quicker than I am. When I'm still climbing up, he's already there and coming back. And they said it many times. They met in Olam and Shamas, and they do whatever they did to go to Yisrael Berachamim. In those days, the Baal Shem Tov said, if we will be able to meet alive in Eretz Yisrael, but that Hashem Mashiach will come. Because he said the Baal Shem Tov said that he was the nefesh of David HaMelech, and the Orach Chaim Kodesh was the ruach of David HaMelech. The ruach is much quicker than the nefesh. If they would meet together, they would pull down the neshama of David Melech Israel, Chai v'Kayim, and B'ezrat Hashem, David HaMelech, Malka Mashiach, would be revealed B'ezrat Hashem with great rachamim. At Kan, this particular story of the Baal Shem HaKodesh for this week. The nekuda that I actually want to emphasize here, I mean, Friday was the yahrzeit of the Rebbe Melech, Rebbe Melech of Lizhensk, and one of the amazing things about the tzaddikim that people fail to understand. The Rebbe Melech had one functioning hand. How come that happened? The answer is that when his grandson was a baby, and his mother fed him, and while he was feeding, he patched his mother on her chest as she was feeding him. So the Noam Melech said to the baby, you should not do that. You should not do that. So the Rebbe Melech's mother was also there. And she said, I don't know why you're getting so excited. You did the same thing. And he was stunned. He says, I did the same thing. He took his both hands and he put his hands into the fire. And his hands were burnt. His hands were burnt. So his mother started crying. And he said, my son won't be able to put on film. So Mishamayim, they healed one hand, the left hand. So he was able to put on film. His right hand was atrophied, was burnt. From that moment on, every Shabbos, the Rebbe Melech would come to the kitchen in his house, and he would lift up his sleeves and he would put his arms on the flames, and the flames would split in both ways and wouldn't touch him. So he would say, Melech, Melech, see what kind of Rasha you are. Even the fire doesn't want to burn you. When we're taking a look, when we hear this kind of story, it is very easy to zoom in on how outwardly the tzaddik was. Fire wouldn't burn him. But initially the fire did burn him. It burned his two hands. It's only because his mother, begged for him, so he should have one hand left put on film. You notice that she did not beg for him to have both hands. And she did not put herself down like, I mean, you would assume that a mother would. This is like, what did I do? Why did I say that? If I wouldn't have said that, he wouldn't have burnt his hands. But that was not what happened there. She told him what she told him. He did what he did. Whatever happened, happened. And she said the one thing that actually that counts is the fact that he needs to have a hand to put on film. The important nakuda over here is it seems to us to be, it's like not human, It's like human beings don't behave like that. It's like what mother would not have Rahmanas on her son burning his hands? And the only thing that she's asking for is my son should have a hand to put on film. Rahmanas, both hands should be healthy. But we are talking about a devotion to Avodas Hashem that supersedes absolutely everything and anything. There's a story about a tzaddik in I think in Hungary that would feed all the poor people. I don't think that it was Abshai Kerestir. I think it was a different tzaddik. He fed the poor people of the town, and his parnasa was that he had a cow. He had a single cow. Those days he had a cow. He had what to eat. And one week he didn't have what to give to the poor people. So he had this one cow of his, shechted, and he gave the meat to the poor people. And you're taking a look at it and you're saying, like, in this worldly eyes, I mean, couldn't you do something else? So 1 week they won't have what you're taking your parnasa and you're shechting your parnasa so that the poor people of the will have 1 week of meat to eat. But being a tzaddik is a different level, it's a different Indian. It's the opposite of the seichel of this world. The havlev of the Avdolos. It's like it's a mindset of a tycoon. Everything becomes subservient, becomes secondary to the Mesiras Nefesh of Avodas Hashem. Both the Baal Shem HaKodesh, the Orach Chaim HaKodesh, the Rebbe Melech, of course, Rabbeinu HaKodesh, their Avodas Hashem was constant and non-stop Mesiras Nefesh. In other words, to the nth degree. It's the story about a senator that came to Rabbi Yosef, and he came to him, to U.S. senator, visited Israel, came to Yerushalayim, heard about him. He wasn't a Jewish man. And he came to Rabbi Yosef and he asked him if you can give him an advice that would be helpful to his political career, so that he will succeed in his political career. So Yosef told him, if you want to be successful in your career, you need to want to be successful. So the senator said, that's the wisest advice, piece of advice he ever gotten. To be successful, you have to want to be successful. You can't be successful. I mean, to be the very best at that, unless you absolutely want with a total tunnel vision to be successful beyond anything else. That is the thing you want. You can be somewhat successful, but you cannot, if you want to be truly successful, you cannot also want to be successful. You have to want to be successful. That has to be the focus. And this is anything in this world. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the inyanim of this world, and how much more so it is the inyan of the tzaddikim. To be a tzaddik, means that you understand what this world is really about. What does it mean? What is the only career that actually matters? The only career that matters is avodas Hashem. And the love of these tzaddikim to avodas Hashem, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is such that, if they did something which is like an iota, not the way it's supposed to be, they would give themselves over completely, totally. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's hard for us to understand that. The Rabbi Elimelech burning his arms. Or the avoid of the tzaddikim, breaking the ice and toiling in frozen rivers. The Baal Shem Tov, whatever it is that he did. Rabbeinu HaKadosh, the Rochaim, all the other tzaddikim. There's there was a basketball player in America in the NBA, who at the time was very famous, and he came to the league. He was the next big promise, whatever. And when he came, there was the guys before him that were the big stars. This guy wanted to be, the man. And he figured that he would ride his talent and be, the number one guy. So Lemaisa, this other one, this older player, took him on his wing and started him, training program, how much you're supposed to weigh and how well do you play when you weigh this much and how this much, whatever it is. And ultimately, I think, I don't remember exactly what the numbers were. He came out at 285, the lower up to 275, then 265, 245. And I said 245, okay, you're not playing well enough, go up to 255. I mean, these are big guys. The point is that they are focused. This is what they want to be the best at. And he says, though, the one sentence this mentor told him, he says, if you want to be the man, the go-to guy, not to be the man, you got to be the man. If you want to be the man, you got to be the man. If you want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you got to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu is way different than playing basketball or any other thing, besides the fact that, talking about a lifetime endeavor. But you learn how to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu from seeing how people deal with this world, the kind of dedication, the kind of iron willpower. No taking no for an answer. The difference, of course, is that we are facing an uphill battle. And our idea is not, it's unlike them, it's not to be better than somebody else. The idea of a basketball player, a football player, or whatever it is, to be as good as he can be is not to be as good as he can be, but to be better than somebody else. Avodas Hashem is not being better than somebody else. Avodas Hashem is being as good as you can be, to be better than you. That's it. So Mimela, the kind of cheshbonis that are entailed in Avodas Hashem are very, very different. Because in Avodas Hashem, you need to understand that a bissel is also good. A little is also good. In the realm of basketball, it doesn't mean anything. In the Olympic Games, the silver medal means that you're the number one loser. You're the first one who lost. The whole idea is winning over somebody else. Avodas Hashem is not about that. Avodas Hashem means that even if you don't get any medals at all, you are the winner. It's a very, very important thought and understanding. We all need tikkun. We have the tzaddikim. We have the tzaddikim, Baruch Hashem. Everybody needs a tikkun. Yeah, but me. Yeah, you, like everybody else. You need a tikkun, everybody else needs a tikkun. That's what the tzaddikim are for. Hold yourself happy and think about Avodas Hashem. Think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Steal a moment for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, you can stand there and daven and your mind is absolutely elsewhere. You realize the thing that you're doing wrong. You know the things that you're doing bad. And you like, what should I do? Where should I go? What should I? The answer is be happy with who you are and think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chapa davening in, from within the davening, like you're davening for Shabbos, and you said this with more kavanah, with less kavanah, whatever it is. There are certain times you can get inside your head and mean something like סבנו טובך, סבנו תועשיך, סבנו טובך, שמח נפשי משעושיך, ותאר ליבנו לא עבדך באמץ. And you're able to sort of like get into inside yourself and aim a cry out at the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Help me with the Torah, help me with the tefillah, help me with a moment of negia ba'emes. And you're saying, what is this in compared to all the time that I'm wasting, all the time that I'm doing things I shouldn't do and watching things I shouldn't watch and whatever. This is an Olympic game of one person, it's just you against you. The main nekuda that I wanted to bring about is in that Dafka, the Baal Shem Tov was The Gdula of the Tzaddik Ador depends on knowing a yichud in the Tilas Yadayim. Dafka Tilas Yadayim. Tilas Yadayim is Midirabon. It's not a mitzvah. But nevertheless, they said, in the innocent Tilas Yadayim, is that Rebbe Akiva, when they gave him, they had just one chisel of water. It was either to drink or to wash his hands, and he used it for Tilas Yadayim. Again, same principle. First of all, Avodas Hashem. Nothing else matters. Tzaddik is champion, a tycoon. There's a ruchnius tycoon. This is what it's about. And when a ruchnius, he can support you. He can support the entire world. That's for them. Dinif netilas yadayim, washing the hands. The Rebbeinu said that when a person washes his hands, should lift his hands up to the level of the head, so the bracha will be the bracha samichin. He says, for this you need to believe that there's kedusha in your hands. But if your hands are up or your hands are down, it makes a big difference. The Zohar Kodesh says, don't lift your hands above your head. They said that Maharil Diskin, when he wasn't well, a doctor came to him, and the doctor said to him, he checked him, I says, lift your hands up. So he was like, this is no, higher. He says, I can't. He says, what, you in pain? He says, no, the Zohar says not to lift the hands above the head. The hands of a Jew, your hands are hands of a Jew. Netilas Yadayim. The first Maseches in the Torah is Maseches Brachas. It's the most elemental things, the connection between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is intimate, it's complete. And when you have a seichel, when you're smart, when you know what's what, it's everything for the boss. That's the career you should have in this world. Within the career itself, there are ways when to sit down, when to push forward, when to relax, when to, throw yourself into the fire. There are different times. But the name of the game is Avodas Hashem. When you look at the Avodas Hashem of the tzaddikim of the generation, you're like, whoa! I mean, we can watch it from the rafters and be like, wow! The nosebleed sections, like, whoa! Check them out, what they did. And Melech, burning his hands, and the Tanesim and Gigul Shalag and whatever they did, because that's the name of the game. Because the Avodas Hashem is what it's all about. There's a lot to talk about this, especially now, as we are, at this point in time in history. Bezat Hashem, hopefully, I believe, Bezat Hashem, there'll be great miracles, Bezat Hashem, in Nisan. What it will be, I have no idea. I just hope, I believe, people say, I believe, Bezat Hashem. But it's all the koyach of the tzaddik. It's all in the koyach of the tzaddik. You can't do it without the tzaddik. They speak of a person in in our generation, that people speak about him, all kinds of things. And I was asked, what's my opinion about this? And I said, he's a person who, it would not surprise me if he were to walk into the tunnels in Gaza and take the hostages out, all of them can walk out without the Arabs being even aware that he was there and he took him out. They wouldn't even know. This is this person that served the Kodesh Baruch Hu with every ounce, every drop of blood that he always has. So, knowing him, I believe, yeah, this is possible. I don't know if I don't know that it'll happen. I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised. Because that is what a human being is capable of doing. A Yid is capable of doing. When he is into Kodesh Baruch Hu, to the nth degree. Let's take a quick look in on to where is the Sichos? Let's take a quick look. We have Sicha of 231, Reish Lamed Aleph. One of Rabbeinu's people told him that he once asked Rabbeinu, what's the difference between a lev nishbar, broken heart, and marash chayra, sadness, depression, brokenness? So Rabbeinu says, a lev nishbar, a broken heart, which is a positive, even when a person stands amongst the world, you have a lot of people around you, you can turn your face and say, Ziboni Shalom. At the same time, when Rabbeinu said that, Rabbeinu himself said, Ziboni Shalom, with such unbelievable bankshaft, with kisufin, with Yisiyas Kapayim, and an amazing, immense yearning to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What this means to say is that Lev Nishbar and Atzvus, sadness, look very similar. You feel down. You feel that you feel unhappy with yourself, unhappy with your accomplishments, with your failures and whatever. The main difference between them is that Atzvus pulls you away from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's a situation. Kodesh Baruch Hu hates it. Lev Nishbar is a brokenness within you that pulls you towards a Kodesh Baruch Hu. It opens up a gate to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And Atzvus is no, nothing will ever come out of me. I'm done. I'm toast. Forget about it. Lev Nishbar is an opening to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Open the door for me. Bring me out. Have Rachmanis on me. Take a look and see where I am. It can't be that I was created to sink like that and to remain sunk. I'm your son. Lift me up. Bring me to you. Look at me. Look what I did. Look what I looked at. Look what I'm looking at. Look at what's in my mind. Help me. That's a Lev Nishbar. A Lev Nishbar and Atzvus are both results of a person seeing where he is at. One is Atzvus, means it brings you down and pushes you away from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Your eyes open and you see yourself, quote unquote, for who you are, and it breaks you. That's Atzvus. Lev Nishbar is, quote unquote, the same thing.
But
It's just 1 second. Is Lev Nishbar is the same kind of recognition of just how pathetic I am. But that's the impetus of opening it up. When a son wants his father to look at him and to pay attention to him, many times the child will do all kinds of shenanigans in order to get the attention that he or she is looking for. But when a child or gives up because his father will own his father's attention, he doesn't do the shenanigans anymore. A person who is ba'atzvus doesn't do anything anymore. He doesn't go wild, he doesn't do any of those things. A person who is just and atzvus is despair. The look of a despair person is not like somebody, oh, okay, but that's not atzvus means that nothing. You don't see anything. There's a person is given up. That's huge. You don't see tears, you don't see screaming, you don't hear screaming, you don't see rebellion, none of that. It's a dead issue. There's nothing to talk about. Lev nishbar, when you say a lev nishbar, is that when you keep on pressing on, it can't be. My father has to look at me. He has to bring me to him. Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm the worst, and I did the worst, and I want to do the worst again. I haven't had enough, but I'm still waiting for Kodesh Baruch Hu to pick me up. And in your heart, keep that. Well, just please, I want to start. When you have that, means that you have Rabbeinu inside you. Because that never-ending impetus to start avodas Hashem. I'm pathetic. Okay, so I'm pathetic, but I still want to get closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is where it's at. Kodesh Baruch Hu should help us with Hashem. Yesterday was the Yosef of the Rebbe Melech. I mean, usually we, Chafalef Adar as we do, on the base. Nevertheless, still, Sichos Haran, we spoke about his dedication, that everything burning 2 hands because he touched his mother's chest as a baby. Avodas Hashem, beyond everything. He was able to be one of the eight greatest tzaddikim of all time. Rabbeinu said the Maisa from Zion Betlos, from the 7 beggars, that there were these 8 Zakanim in the tower, each one recounting an earlier memory that he had. And Rabbeinu said one of those, these are the biggest 8 tzaddikim of all time. And he says one of them is the Rebbe Melech. Total vision, everything to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We do B'ezrat Hashem whatever it is that we can do. And this is our gevura, that we are leaning on the tzaddikim. B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'ezrat Hashem should help us. We'll be Zoch B'ezrat Hashem with Mashiach, B'ezrat Hashem coming really, really soon. And hopefully we'll see the Geula Shleimo. If anybody has anything that they want to say, that you want to have an idea, want to announce something, just open up the mic and go ahead. Yes, otherwise.
My alarm didn't go off. I feel so bad. My alarm didn't go off, but I managed to get something. I managed to get in, but I missed the stories. Oh, I missed those stories. And whatever you have to say about the Torah.
Baruch
But
Hashem, I mean,
whatever I got was great.
well, you should be able to hear a recording of that.
Yeah, I never do. If I don't get it the first time, it's usually not something I go about getting. But I'm glad I got some of it.
It's really lovely for you to say this to me. I mean, it's like makes me feel great. No, it really does. Makes me feel wanted. Walt, no, seriously. Really, thank you. Yeah, Omer, מה העניינים? You're with us, without us? You want to say something, Omer?
Yes, תודה רבה, תודה רבה. קודם כל, היורצייט של נעמי אלימלך היה בשבת?
לא, ביום שישי. ביום שישי, אבל אני חושב שבאופן רשמי חוגגים את זה באדר ב'.
הבנתי.
עד כמה שידוע לי.
Yeah, it's because I think that Al-Pisod, it's not the Hebrew other, which is the first one, is not the real other. I understand it's the Rufim of the second other is the ones of other. So the Hebrew Neshama happens in the second other. That's what I understood.
הבנתי.
Not a mumcha.
הבנתי.
Emet Hashem, I'm going to be there. Emet Hashem, next, the outside in on the base. Emet Hashem, I'm going to be there. The outside is Motzei Shabbos. We plan on being in the Zhensk with Nachman and Emet Hashem.
It's Hashem, remember us.
Without Hashem, yeah.
All of us.
In Krakow for Shabbos, and then by Rebbe Rameir for Motzei Shabbos.
Tremendous. Without Hashem. Anybody has any ideas, any questions, any auras? Okay.
Oh, I just wondered, it's odd that you didn't say one joke. You're like, yep. So once upon a time, a guy came over to Yankel Miller and tells him, tell me a good word.
Yeah. No, you put yourself on mute. We didn't hear what you said.
Hello. So Yankel Miller tells him, a good word, whiskey. Is a word, and it's good.
So I'll tell you also. We spoke yesterday. Spoke with David Gritzman about something. We talk about. It's a joke that actually. Doesn't matter who said it in the beginning. So it was a typical Jewish humor that is inimitable anywhere else. He says that a poor person entered, went towards the house of a rich person. And as he was coming in, another poor person was coming out, and he says to the guy who was coming in, he says, don't bother going in. He's in a bad mood. All he gives is like 10 shekels. So the other guy says, I'm going in. Why should I give him this 10 shekels by not going in? When was the last time he gave me 10 shekels? Okay. But the main thing, Nelson says, 30 days before Purim, if you say Hatzileni Meklipas Haman Amalek, save me from the Klipas Haman Amalek, that's when the Klipa goes into you and makes you feel like you're done with, that you're finished, that you are history. And go ahead and do this again. That's Klipas Haman Amalek. He said, if you think 30 days before Purim, B'ezrat Hashem, you're able to see Mordechai HaTzadik during the Christmas Megillah, B'ezrat Hashem. So every single day, Hatzileni Meklipas Haman Amalek, Zakeni lekdusha Mordechai ve'Esther, B'ezrat Hashem. B'ezrat Hashem will see B'ezrat Hashem great miracles. Atzlacha b'kol
Amen.
B'ezrat Hashem. Kol Tov.